stunning collapse. Knicks blow late lead as Pacers steal Game 1 in overtime. Madison Square Garden was rocking. The home crowd could sense victory as the New York Knicks led by 14 points with under 3 minutes remaining in Game 1 of the Eastern Conference Finals. But what happened next stunned not just the Garden faithful, but basketball fans everywhere. The Indiana Pacers, refusing to fold, clawed back from the brink with a furious rally and eventually sealed a 138-135 win in overtime, one of the most improbable comebacks in NBA playoff history. A collapse for the ages. The Knicks' late-game meltdown is now part of playoff lore. Prior to this night, no team had ever lost a playoff game when leading by 14 or more with fewer than 3 minutes left. According to league data, teams in that position were previously 477-0. The unraveling was swift and jarring. After a tightly contested three quarters, the Knicks surged ahead in the fourth, riding the red-hot scoring of Jalen Brunson, who finished with 43 points. Karl Anthony Towns added 35 points and 12 rebounds, while the Knicks defense had mostly contained Indiana for much of the second half, until it didn't. Nesmith and Halliburton sparked the surge. Aaron Nesmith, who had been relatively quiet through three quarters, turned into a flamethrower late in the game. He drilled 5 three-pointers in a span of minutes, pouring in 30 points and igniting the Pacers' comeback. Tyrese Halliburton, Indiana's all-star point guard, was masterful down the stretch. He not only delivered clutch baskets but orchestrated the offense with poise. His game-tying jumper with 1.3 seconds left initially appeared to be a three-pointer that gave the Pacers a lead. However, after review, it was ruled a 2, sending the game to overtime tied at 123. Still, the damage had been done. The Knicks, once firmly in control, looked rattled. Overtime belonged to Indiana. Once the extra period began, the momentum was squarely on Indiana's side. Obi Toppin, a former Knick, came up with timely plays, while Halliburton continued to control the tempo. New York, on the other hand, appeared deflated and disjointed, both emotionally and in execution. While Brunson and Towns tried to will their team forward, the rest of the supporting cast struggled to rise to the occasion. In the closing moments, a critical turnover and missed free throws sealed their fate. Knicks reflect on a missed opportunity. After the game, the mood in the Knicks locker room was one of stunned silence and reflection. Head coach Tom Thibodeau acknowledged the team's breakdowns on both ends of the court. "We stopped being aggressive. We didn't close out the game," Thibodeau said during his post-game presser. "In the playoffs, you have to play 48 minutes. Every possession matters." Josh Hart was more direct, lamenting the team's mental approach in the final minutes. "We started playing not to lose. That's when you get in trouble," he said. "We let up defensively, and offensively we got too stagnant." The Knicks, who have been riding a wave of momentum throughout the postseason, now find themselves in unfamiliar territory, trailing 0-1 in a series they were favored to win. A familiar foe, a renewed rivalry. This playoff matchup reignites a rivalry that defined the 1990s and early 2000s. The Pacers and Knicks were no strangers to epic playoff duels, and Game 1 felt like a throwback. Physical, emotional, and full of drama. But this time, it was Indiana who landed the final punch. For the Pacers, this win is not just a statement. It's a belief builder. "We never stopped believing," Halliburton said post-game. "Even when the clock was winding down, we knew we had a shot. That's who we are." What's next? The Knicks have less than 48 hours to regroup before Game 2 tips off back at the Garden. There's no shortage of talent on their roster, and they've shown resilience before, but this loss cuts deeper. If they want to avoid falling into a 0-2 hole, New York will need to tighten its late-game execution, get more from its bench, and rediscover the defensive intensity that's been its identity all season. For now, though, Game 1 will be remembered as a collapse and a comeback for the ages.